Hello, everyone. I'm Billy Trace. If you're watching this, that means you're watching Couch Coaches, which means I appreciate you. So thank you very much. Um, we gotta have a conversation. Like all my followers who follow me on Instagram, know I put that poll up last week asking whether Kawhi Leonard was a better player than Kevin Durant. And y'all surprised me. Like y'all like blew my mind. Y'all really just in belief that KD is just way better than Kawhi. Like everybody was choosing KD. Shout out to the few of you that chose Kawhi. I appreciate that. And I told y'all a video is coming. So here it is. Look, I'm not saying that there's a big gap between Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant because there isn't. They're very, very elite players. They're both one of the best players in the league currently. But I feel like we seem to have forgotten who Kawhi Leonard is. Like that year off last year, and that whole debacle with San Antonio and him not, being cool with Pop and that whole dynamic and how that was so hectic um and detrimental to his own personal brand, which isn't that big just because of his own accord. But and then how we look at him as a player as well. So now you know we're seeing the true talents of Kawhi Leonard. He's willing this Toronto's Raptors team to success right now. He's willing them to the NBA Finals. He's playing at an elite level. He's doing everything that his team needs him to do. He was one shot away from most likely losing in the second round to the 76ers. And I'm not being a homer. I know you see the hat, and now you know you're probably going to be like, he's just a Sixers fan and he's talking crazy. No, I think the Sixers team was an elite team. But, Kawhi hit a very tough shot. And if that game goes into overtime, I don't think that they have enough to win it. That's just my opinion. And we'd most likely be in the finals. But I digress. No, but when we look at these two players, right? Like, let's look at their points per game. You look at stats. We can start there. They're pretty similar. Durant's averaging 34 points per game. Kawhi's averaging 31. Kawhi has a higher field goal percentage. He also has a higher 3-point percentage. And his offensive rating is a tad below KD's. KD has 117.4 and Kawhi has 116.3. So we're just playing apples and oranges right there. Then when you look at, Kawhi's played more minutes, taken more field goals, has made more field goals. Like, I get, like, you look at those numbers and you think, they're a little skewed. Kawhi's played more games, yada, yada, yada. I get that. And I'll give that to you. But he's still doing it. And he's still actively carrying his team. And yes, last series he got a lot of help from Van Vliet and Kyle Lowry and Paul Gasol. Those guys stepped up tremendously. But it still led with Kawhi. Kawhi was the engine on that train. And he's the reason why that they're playing so good and why I do believe they do have a shot and most likely will win the NBA Finals. Hold that to me. It's my bold prediction. I tweeted that like last week. People were actually no, that was a few days ago. I tweeted that people were killing me for it, but I truly believe it. Kawhi is just elite. And I joked around with a few of my friends and asked them about the Kawhi LeBron situation. It's close. It's definitely close, but it's not. I don't think it's there yet, but it's definitely close. I want to see what it looks like at the end of their career. But to get back to my main point about who is better, Kawhi Leonard and KD, I'd have to say Kawhi on this sole basis. And I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to take anything from KD here, but I think that Kawhi Leonard is just an all-around better basketball player. When you look at how he plays on the defensive end, he's leading the playoffs in steals right now. Like, he is a defensive stopper. And then when offensively, he scores with ease. Like, it's not like he's actively, like, it's like he's exerting any amount of effort when he's scoring. It's just like he's an old guy on the court outside, and he's just, he gets into his rhythm, and he just starts hitting shots, and trots down to the end of the floor after that and plays lockdown defense. This guy is an elite talent. He's the best of the best, and I just don't know what you guys are seeing. Like, I'm not saying KD's not an elite player, and I like KD. I had no problem with him, leaving the OKC and going to play with the Warriors. I think that's what he should have did. He was never going to win one with Russ, but that's another story for another day. But KD's not that type of all-around elite player that Kawhi is, and Kawhi's definitely and not to take anything away from KD, because I've seen KD play elite defense in all 5 positions. I've seen him play at the 5 and be a rim protector and do everything that his team needs to be successful. But the key difference is I've never seen KD do it by himself. And currently, Kawhi Leonard is doing it by Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, you could say Kyle Lowry's an all-star, but he's like a borderline all-star. He's not an all-star. He's not a guy where you could lean on him every night. You can't lean on Kyle every night because he'll disappoint you almost every night. And for some reason in this last series, he started snapping and he came through. And there's really only been a handful of games where Kyle's actually played at an elite level. But other guys have been able to step up and it's hid that fact. And we haven't really had to worry about or talk about Kyle Lowry and his inconsistent play that much this series because they've been winning and finding a way to get past and move on to the next round. Partly because of Kawhi. But KD is a great player. It's a little of a preference because I do see why you could say, look, KD, scoring titles, just scores effortlessly. But to me, I feel as though KD doesn't have certain attributes that make him and give him the ability to lead a team. Kawhi's leading a team, and he's not even an outspoken guy. He's not even a guy where you have to hear, like, you have to hear his voice. He's a guy where he leads by example. He captures guys and creates camaraderie without saying much, and he's just going out there and hooping and doing what he does. And I think there's a great chance Kawhi could stay in Toronto. It's gonna bode well for the NBA. They'd love that. Their brand is in 2 different countries, and succeeding in 2 different countries. They would love that. And then Kawhi's able to make money out there. It's still a low key type of vibe. Yet and still he's still the guy, and he's still able to make money and do endorsement deals. So I think Kawhi could stay as well. But again, getting back to debating whether or not who's better and who's not, I gotta say Kawhi, due to the intangibles, due to the ability of leading a team and doing everything that you possibly can to propel a win and being able to succeed in that and being able to manage a whole bunch of because KD wasn't. We all talk about KD being dominant, but KD wasn't dominant enough to tell Russ that he needed to be the guy. He was too buddy. He didn't have a hard backbone. I know KD likes to talk crazy and be this macho guy and this hard guy now, but that's not him. He wasn't able to do that in OKC. He couldn't tell Russ, chill, I'm the guy. Let me take us to the promised land. He wasn't able to do those types of things. And I'm not saying Kawhi has done that, but I'm saying Kawhi naturally gains that respect from players to where they take a back seat. Even when, he was in San Antonio. And I know he played with Pop, and I know he played with Hall of Fame guys who only cared about winning and the type of system that they played in. But still, he gained that respect from those players. And those players understood that there's a point in time where Kawhi was the best player on that team. And, that series when he beat LeBron, he was the best player. When he won that finals MVP, he was the best player. And the older guys took a back seat to let him shine, to let him carry them to, prosperity and to an NBA championship. Like that is a big moment in Kawhi's career, because not every guy gets that, like we saw KD not get that. But hey, guys, I really do appreciate you watching this video. Please watch more. Please subscribe. I'm going to keep the videos coming. Just dudes, guys.